joining us today from SEC Unfiltered. Honestly, man, we love Chris and everybody over there, but this is a man who is not afraid to give a scorching hot take or two. You can find him on X at Mr. Cole Thompson. It's Cole Thompson. Welcome into the show, buddy.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, boys. Like, if I'm giving scorching hot takes, that either means I'm right on the money or I am dead wrong and I'm going to be on freezing cold takes tomorrow. But no, I love your show, guys. I really do. Like, when you guys reached out, I was beyond excited to come on. I'm always for independent podcasters that continuously want to see this platform grow. And you guys have been one of my favorite listens in the last month or so. So, for anybody that checks out SEC Unfiltered, make sure that you guys follow the Always Talking Ball podcast. They do great work over here. That's so awesome when small worlds collide. Tyler loves Notre Dame. My grandfather and I grew up in a Notre Dame household.
Mm-hmm.
And Lance was at the same bar that I probably was in 2015 in Tuscaloosa. So you never know how lives pass and path. Let's rephrase that. You never know how lives will cross paths. Lo and behold, that's how you get the Always Talking About an SEC Unfiltered collaboration.
Love it, Cole. I'm going to keep rolling here with one. I got another over here. It's really strange seeing this team and seeing the number 9.5 next to their name. But I just honestly, man, I personally think it's disrespectful to Kirby Smart in Georgia to have a win total.
God.
To have a win total of 9.5. I mean, with all of last year's woes, man, being 102nd in the country and rushing on offense, all the injuries they had along the offensive line, the injuries they had in the backfield of the running back position, leading the nation in drop passes, and they still found a way to win 10 games, win the SEC against the number one ranked strength of schedule in the country. And then with this year's team, man, I just think that this Kirby Smart team is more of a type of Kirby Smart team that he wants, more of a blue-collared type squad, more of a team that's got a chip on their shoulder. The quarterback's got a chip on his shoulder. Nobody believes in him. Everybody acts like that Gunnar Stockton can't play. Obviously, the jury's out. We'll see. But I just have belief that Georgia and Kirby Smart do not recruit dumbasses to come there and play quarterback and come there and play some of their top positions. There's a reason why they're one of the top talent acquisition programs in the entire country. I'm a believer in Nate Frazier. Huge believer in Nate Frazier. I don't think that we got to see, the dude was a true freshman with a ton on his shoulders last year in the SEC because of injuries to ETN and other running backs around him. So he got a lot placed on his shoulders. I think he's the next great one at Georgia. I love they went out and got Josh McCray from Illinois. There's a name that a lot of people are talking about, like Georgia people are talking about, and Bo Walker.
Say his name. Say his name.
Yeah, yes. Man. A lot of people talking about that guy after the spring game and through fall camp. So I think that there's just, when there's smoke, there's fire. There's just a lot of talk about Bo Walker. So I think we're going to see him early. I also think, too, the receiver position, stop me if you've heard this before. Colby Young had legal issues last year at Georgia. But he's – yeah, exactly. He's back now, at least for now. But he's your more like him and Noah Thomas, a transfer from A&M. They're more your bigger body, go up and get the rock type of X receivers. And it allows them to put a person like Dylan Bell, who is a great versatile athlete that can play tailback. He can play in the slot.
Throw another bubble screen, Bobo. Throw another bubble screen, Bobo.
Throw another bubble screen, Bobo. That's what Georgia fans are yelling at us, my man, one time or whatever like that. But yeah, if you're going to throw bubble screens and quick screens, get the rock in the hands to someone like Zachariah Branch and Dylan Bell out on the perimeter quick. You can do that now because of Colby Young and Noah Thomas. I love the tight end room too, obviously, with Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky. Defensively, dude, I'm never worried about a freaking defense as long as Kirby Smart is the head coach there and, Schumann back as defensive coordinator. I know they're replacing some guys like Mykel Williams and Jalen Walker and Malachi Starks. When is Georgia not replacing studs on defense? I mean, they do it all the time. Do I think they're going to be the 2021, 2022 defense up front? Probably not. But do I still think that they'll be one of the best defensive fronts in the country? Absolutely. And I think they've arguably got the best inside linebacker tandem in the country in C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson that they're bringing back. They've got plenty of dudes in the secondary, so I'm not worried about the Georgia defense. Schedule-wise, I like the fact that they get their buys before Bama and before Florida. Now, I realize that other teams have their buys before those games as well. And they get bottom-tier teams like Kentucky and Mississippi State before they go to Auburn and before they play against Texas. they catch Tennessee at the best time to catch them in Knoxville, which is early in the season when Tennessee's trying to figure out their quarterback situation. Now, I realize that's Gunnar Stockton's first road game, and that's a terrible place to go on your first road game. But Josh Heupel, for whatever reason, his offense just has been absolutely stoned by Kirby Smart in Georgia his entire tenure at Tennessee so far. So I look at this Georgia dude. Honestly, I could see them. They're one of the few teams in all of college football that I could see going 11-1, but I definitely like the fact that they could go 10-2 and get over that 9.5.
So then I'm just going to tell you right now, hammer the 9.5.
Yeah.
Like, just do that. Did you know, both of you, that last season, many people thought that was Kirby Smart's best coaching job because of the drops, because of the quarterback position, because of they didn't have that bark on the interior offensive line. They didn't have it on the defensive line either, in my opinion. They weren't that physical punch you in the mouth team. And then you say, thank you that you're not going to hit me again because I can't handle the pressure. Like, they weren't that type of defensive line last season, and they still won the SEC.
Yeah, Cole, I don't mean to cut you off here, but like, that's a perfect example. We've been talking about that a lot. Have you ever seen a Kirby Smart coach team, even his days at Alabama as a DC?
No.
I've never seen a Kirby Smart coach team line up and get their ass physically whipped like they did against Ole Miss and like they did against Notre Dame at points during those games.
They got whipped at times against Texas. They got whipped against Alabama. They got whipped at times, in my opinion, against Tennessee. They got whipped. They got whipped against Georgia Tech to where they came back and we had 7 overtimes. Like, they got whipped at times. They wasn't the patented team. But did you know that this year is the most talented team that Kirby Smart has ever assembled based off of the blue chip ratio?
Sounds about right.
It's the most talented team that he has ever had on campus. So it's like, you really want to doubt Kirby Smart when he on paper has most talented roster. You brought up a couple names. The blue collar quarterback, I just think is his stock. Like, it's his shtick, and it's boring. And it's a dude that we're never going to see make it to the NFL, I think, as like the premier passer, like we'll see at maybe a Florida or like an LSU or something like that. But the bottom line is, and I had this conversation last year with somebody because they said Jackson Dart's not a first round pick. Jackson Dart is an overrated NFL quarterback. I could give a crap less what you do on the Sunday game when I'm focusing on the Saturday game. That to me is all I care about. Don't care what you do in your future endeavors with the NFL. Hope you make a lot of money. But I'm focusing in on what you can do on Saturday. Yep. And I thought Jackson Dart was the best quarterback in the SEC last season, even though he had his moments. Like, but I was hellbent on that being the truth. If Gunnar Stockton, this blue chip quarterback that plays with a brand of, I am a meat and potatoes type of dude, I like to pull my tractor, and I am all about the hard farm work type of mentality, then the night lifestyle. If that's the quarterback that works in a Kirby Smart led team, that's the one that you can appreciate that will take you to a national title. And I think that he has that. I also think it's unfair the way that we talk about Gunnar Stockton having to face like all this pressure because of, look at what happened in the SEC title game. You mean the game that he had to come in, fill in, and still find a way to win? Yeah, he did that. That was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, he had a bad play. Like, he had a bad interception, but he still made plays. Oh, but look at what he did against Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. You mean how a couple of wide receivers ran the wrong routes and he misfired them because of afterwards, Kirby said that it was the wide receiver's fault and that he had one bad fumble to close out the first half because the offensive line got bullied. Yeah, that's all on him.
And bro, think about the two defenses you're talking about too in those games. Like, that's his first start ever is against freaking Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman and Al Golden in that defense. I mean,
in an elimination game.
Yeah.
In an elimination. Yeah. Screw it. Yeah, buddy, that's all on you. So it's like, you had an entire offseason to be the guy. You had an entire offseason to learn the ins and outs of what Mike Bobo's offense is. And I get it. Bobo is hated by the Georgia Bulldog fans. Yeah, he's going to be gone, I think, after this season, regardless. I'm not sure if it's going to be because if he retires or he's fired, but I think this is his last year. But still, like, I just trust that type of quarterback to run the offense that you want because we've seen it work before in the past. There's never been a more SEC running back to exist than Bo Walker. Like, when you're named after 2 Heisman Trophy winning running backs, you have a lot of expectations to meet, boys. Like you have got to be the dude pretty early on. And we actually did a bull prediction video for every team in the SEC. And I said Bo Walker was going to lead this team in rushing yards. Like, do I believe it? Maybe that's why it's a bold prediction. But like, if you pair him, the thing with Georgia is you have to have that secondary running back. Look at the teams that were always so well built to go on 10 plus wins and make it to New Year's 6 bowl games. And if we had the 12 team playoff back in 2013 and 14, like Todd Gurley, could trust Keith Marshall to be that guy. Sony Michel could be the running mate to Nick Chubb. You look at even a few years ago what they had in the backfield. Like, their ability to trust just a solid rushing attack is always, I think, beneficial. And that's what you got, whether it be with Bo Walker or Josh McCray coming on in from Illinois to pair alongside with Nate Frazier. It takes pressure off of him to have to be that dude. What's really interesting is that offensive line, it was bullied last year, but they didn't go into the portal. Like, did you guys notice that this past year? They said, you know what? We still like our offensive line. We very much like the direction of where this team is. We just think that we got to get more comfortable. They have 4 returning starters, which I think is really beneficial for Stacey Sales to work with. The wide receiver room is going to be better because it can't get much worse. I mean, like, when you lead the country in drops, it's bad. Like, it's very bad. And that, by the way, like, we don't talk enough about that. That should be the biggest marker of how impressive it was that Kirby was still able to lead this team to an 11-win season and SEC title when Georgia, like, I'm going to say that again, Georgia, a program that we view as one of the pinnacles of college football, leads the country in drops. Like, that should say how good of a coaching job you had. Noah Thomas doesn't drop anything. He's going to be a mismatch nightmare, I think, inside the red zone, because if he was at Texas A&M, Zachariah Branch getting out of Lincoln Riley's system is going to be really interesting. I heard from people out in Athens that the second that he touched down on campus, he was already speaking with the wide receiver coaches, and he was speaking with Coley about, like, what should be some things that you can utilize him best as. And he was very attentive to the offense. He was going through, when I need to cut here, what do I need to do here? Like, very much is going to be involved in this play style in so many different ways. You brought up Dylan Bell. I think he can be that Swiss Army knife. I think that London Humphreys is going to have a better year. I think that just another season in the system is going to do wonders for him. That tight end room is awesome. Like, It's not Brock Bowers, and you don't have, like, the 2-time John Mackey Award winner. Okay, that's fine. But, like, when you look at the names they do have, Lawson Lucky is one. You brought up Oscar Delp, which I thought was also one that was really, really poignant. They have a third guy, and I'm blanking on his name right now. Top of my head. What is it? Riddell, Jalen Riddell, the redshirt freshman. Like, he would start for like 50 or 60 Power 4 program teams, and he's your third stringer at Georgia. Like, you're fine in that standpoint. And the defense, it's Glenn Schumann, it's Kirby Smart calling the plays. Remember the name Ella Medusi. I hope everybody knows about the Army transfer that came on in, because if some people are going to be like, you think that he's the breakout player in the SEC this year? No, I don't think. I know he will be the breakout player in the SEC this year, because he was so great at Army as a run defender. And what did you do? You said, hey, Glenn Schumann, get your hands on this outside jack linebacker and turn him into a first-round pick, because you've already done it with, like, so many other players. What's another dude that already is a master class when it comes to run defense that just needs to get a little bit more polished when taking angles into the backfield as a pass rusher? Like, you gave him to Georgia. You gave him to Glenn Schumann. You gave him to the mastermind of getting players to the pros at the linebacker position at what has become linebacker U. Like, I am so excited to see how much more refined he is as a pass rusher, leaving the American Conference and coming on over to the SEC. They're going 10-2 at least. Like I think at this point, it's a lot like Texas A&M. I'll believe it when I see it. When I see people ranking Georgia outside of the top 6 in the preseason poll, or saying they're going to go 9-3, I'll believe it when I see it, because I can't. Like, it's part of the grace that you get by constantly doing your job at an elite level, that we give you the benefit of the doubt on times when we don't know truly what you are going into this season. Like, that's where you're at, is I'm giving you the benefit of being a team that has shown me time and time again, with so many flaws, you're still Georgia. So, like, 10-2 is going to happen. They may not go to Atlanta this year, but also, is that like a bad thing? Like, think about this, guys. If they don't win the SEC and they were the runner-up, in 2 weeks, they're going to have to turn around and play a game. If they don't go to Atlanta and they're guaranteed to host a home game at Sanford, they get an extra week to kind of get healthy and prepare. And then we saw last season 2 teams that didn't play in a conference championship. One, Notre Dame, because they're not in a conference, but I don't really give a crap about that one. But still, 2 teams that didn't play in a conference championship, that extra week to prepare was actually better for them, and they went to the national title game.
And they wouldn't have lost their starting quarterback to injury that they lost in the SEC championship game.
Exactly. And then what are we talking about with Carson Beck? Does he go pro? Is he at Miami? Is Miami crap out of luck going into this year? Like, what are we talking about at this point? So like, it's not a bad thing if you go 10-2. Like, yes, I know what the expectation is down in Athens. I get what you can say about this team, but like, I'm not. To me right now, I'm not believing that if you don't win the SEC title, it shows that you're a weak roster. I don't see it.
Yeah.
And watch them end up winning it. Like, just watch me doubting them to go to the SEC title, and they use this as motivation fuel. Like, nobody's doing the 7-5 crap. Nolan Smith, it's not happening. But like, I see Georgia fans right now. They're like, we love that. We love this bulletin board material for what 10-2 and hosting a playoff game. God, you were spoiled, and I love it. I love it.
Well, this was an absolute blast, man. I can't thank you enough for coming on. Let the people know where they can find you once again. Let them know what things Chris and the guys over at SEC Unfiltered have cooking this season.
Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and spam me all the time on my social media, it's at Mr. Cole Thompson. You can hate my takes literally in my DMs. I have plenty of Tennessee fans to attest to that right now. We're finishing up our season previews for the SEC Unfiltered channel. Our 3 biggest game stretches is what I'm working on right now. X Factor players are coming out next week. The actual predictions are coming out later on this week. My actual explanation video just dropped recently on the top 25 teams for 2025. In my opinion, going into this year, we have our college football playoff selection show on Monday. If you want to check that out, Chris and I will be unveiling our 12 teams. And we got a bunch of other content that's going to be bleeding out the eyeballs, especially when it comes to season previews, because we do all 16 teams. We do all reactions. We do Sunday Fun Day every single week. We have 2 live streams at 8 o'clock every single Monday and Thursday, so check it out there. And as always, if you want to give me a follow, it's at Mr. Cole Thompson on social media. I'm basically there everywhere, except on TikTok, which is at Cole Thompson CFB. Because somebody, and I don't understand this, and it pisses me off, who is going by Mr. Cole Thompson? Like, honestly, who stole my mononym? Like, who did that? Because that's what I've been known as for the last 8 years on social media. And somebody decided to steal it from me on TikTok.
Well, good stuff, man. Appreciate you coming on, man. We already can't wait to have you on again sometime. Appreciate you guys listening in, man. We know it was a little bit of a longer episode, but this is the SEC, and we just, it just means more, like the moniker says. So, again, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X. For Cole Thompson and Lance Barton, I'm Tyler Noe. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.